Hi guys, it's the start of August and my 5th month learning to day trade penny stocks on the US market with a small $300 account. So I'm off to a good start this month. I'm recouping some of the losses that I made last month in July, which was my first red month of trading. So I played a first green day bounce setup and a third day surge setup, which are my prime setups. And both trades, I took about a 20% gain on them. So I'm going to go into the two trades and analyse the charts. So the first ticker is SNGX, and this was for a third day surge setup, which has been a little bit more in play recently. There was one last week that I played. So that's a good sign that these setups are working or starting to work at the moment. So this is the daily chart over here, and can see it's had a big day one on big volume, and it's gone from around 125 up to 537, and ideally it would have held its gains a bit better, but the volume was significant on day one, and on day two it kind of held this consolidation range, which is what I look for on a third day surge setup, and a nice volume drop off as well, so that any shorts that sized in according to volume on day one, there's a potential for them to get squeezed on day three if volume comes in. So let's go to the intraday chart. So this is its big day one here, and then nice kind of consolidation and basing action following that over to day two. And then I'm looking for this squeeze on day three. It's like a liquidity trap. So high volume day one, and volume drops off on day two. Volume comes in, price can surge on day three. So this was day two, and then can see it's basing around the 238 area. So on pre-market the next day, I am looking for this to pull back somewhere close to the low of day, the day before on day two, and that's where I can risk off, take entry somewhere around here. Now, it didn't do that, which is another scenario that can happen. This can just go without you, which it started to do. This is the red-green area over here, so where it starts to go above day two's close. And obviously I was waiting for it to come down here. It didn't. It started to push red-green, and at that point I'm thinking, like, damn, I've missed my setup basically. But there wasn't chance for me to get in, because it's the only place I would want to enter, or the other option is the red-green area. So luckily this started to push here, and it actually came back down towards the red-green area. So that was my second plan of action, was to enter and risk off red-green. And they're the only two places that I will enter for a third day surge setup. So I took an entry at 290. Risking off 274, which is a little bit of a higher entry than I would have liked and could have got. I think I missed this for some reason. I don't know what. I must have taken my eye off the ball. I missed that. So yeah, could have definitely got a lower entry there. And I only put $43 on this, and I really wanted to size up on this. I was ready to put say size up. I'm always on small size at the moment, but about $100 or so would be good for me, but only if it was in this area. I don't like playing red-green area, because ultimately this is like the definitive risk level. So if I have to play red-green, I'm not that comfortable with that yet. So that's the reason why I took slightly smaller size, and my risk was a little bit wider than I would have liked as well. So yeah, can see it just started to move after I bought it, which was great, and then had this really nice push up here. This is all pre-market, and I think I was all out of this pre-market if I remember correctly. Yeah, I was. And I sold, just along the way. I can't remember what my best sell was actually, but my average sell was 353, which, to be honest, I know I should have waited for more on this kind of setup, because I know what kind of percentage gain this setup can offer. And this was a pretty prime setup, but I think playing the red-green area and I've had a really tough July month, so I think that factored into it. Of like, just want to bank some money basically. So it ended up taking about 21% on this trade, which is a really nice gain. So yeah, and then as you can see, market opened, and sometimes these can just continue to surge, but this didn't, so I'm pretty happy that I was all out of it before the market opened. So that's the first good trade of the week. And then the second trade that I took was a first green day bounce setup on SGD. So I've got to apologise for all these lines and things I've been drawing, but yeah. So again, it's had a nice run up. This is the daily chart over here, and then this is the day that I played it for a bounce, this green day here. So let me go to the intraday chart. So yeah, this is the day one where it started to move. It's had a couple of moves over, a few days, and then it started to retrace as well. So the reason why I was looking at this one was because if we go to the 15-minute time frame, you can see it's following this trend down, and then it's kind of basing out at this 135 level, which if we look at its day two, that was an area of support. So it's following this trend, it's not breaking out of there. And then pre-market on the day I played it for a bounce, I was very much watching this to break trend, because I'd actually seen one recently do a really similar thing where it was following this downtrend, and I was waiting for it for a first green day bounce the following day. So I wrote it off, and it actually broke that trend line on market open, and it had its bounce that day. So for this one, I was like, I'm not missing this one. If it starts to break the trend today, even though this could still have another red day before it bounces, if it bounces, I don't want to miss it if it suddenly breaks pre-market and starts to bounce. So let's go to the 1 minute chart. So just to go over, it's had big day one, it's now retracing, it's had a good retracement, and it's breaking this trend line, which was from the 15-minute chart, which obviously looks a little bit different now. We're on the 1 minute chart. So I entered actually on market open. I was considering, because on the 15-minute time frame it had actually broken this trend line pre-market. So I was thinking, I could take an entry here, but because there was such a lack of liquidity, there really wasn't much data for me to work off. I was thinking, I don't want to see just a big jolt down. So I kind of wanted to see what it did on market open. And this is also the red-green level, so where it's moving above yesterday's close. So that's where it goes red-green, and that's a positive sign that this could bounce, coinciding with the break-in 15-minute trend line as well. So I took an entry on market open. So I can see it was, kind of hovering around here, and I got in at 147, and I was risking off red-green, so this level here. And yeah, can see that it did the bounce that I was hoping for, and I took a 20% gain on this as well. So I only put, again, really should be putting a bit more on these trades, like $30 on this. But again, I had reason to, because it's one of those ones where it's a break of a trend line and I'm having to play red-green. It's not the ideal setup for me, and I'm not that confident with these breaking trends, holding red-green. I like to play off yesterday's low of day. So that's why I took smaller size on this. And my average sell was 175, which again could have gone much higher, but it wasn't very volatile. It was quite illiquid. And it's only here that the volume started to come in, and I missed out on this big chunk of the move, unfortunately. But that's okay. Like, I still took a 20% gain on it. I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that's the trade. So I've had a third day surge setup and a first green day bounce setup. Both worked out really well. Could have maximised my gains on both of them, but is what it is. And they're the two trades that I took this week. So the week in general has actually been really flat on the market. The scan's been really weak, and I've barely traded other than those two trades, which I'm so pleased about, because there hasn't really been anything else on my prime setups to trade. So what I've done is I've made the most of that time. I've taken myself for a walk, gone to my local coffee shop, sat down, read a book, had a coffee, and come home, and I've just done some studying on different setups. So that's been really nice to actually allow myself to take time away from the market and not sit there watching charts all day and end up trading things that I shouldn't be trading and losing my gains. So I really hope I can stick to that this month and just focus on the prime setups. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching as always, and see you next Sunday.